Hey guys, welcome back to Candid Cinema. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today I will be reviewing episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, titled Power Broker. This was such a great episode. Each episode keeps getting better and better. It's very well written. The only peeve, and I'm going to start off with the peeves, is just the fact that the Flag Smashers are really doing nothing for me. I have nothing to say about them. They're just kind of there. And I know they're trying to build up like this Robin Hood type-esque of an extremist group, but it's just not working. I don't know what's not translating for me. Maybe they are tied in with Bucky and Zemo. I have no idea, but it's not working. There's something missing. I can't quite put my finger on it. And I also felt like the pacing was a bit off in this episode. It was just kind of like everything was jumbled together trying to assemble an episode. I did enjoy it, don't get me wrong. I always love when Sam and Bucky are arguing or they're just together on screen. I love their dynamic together so much, and their chemistry is building, which is awesome, and their friendship is also developing, so that's great. I kind of didn't appreciate the fact that Sam was kind of sidelined in this episode. It was all about Bucky and Zemo. Again, I know that we only have 6 episodes, so you kind of have to like dip your toe in all of these other characters. We kind of explored Sam's backstory in the first 2 episodes, and then this one kind of like strayed away from that. We don't really get anything with Sam, other than the fact that Sarah kind of calls him while he's doing a mission. It's just the fact that like there was nothing for Sam to do, other than worry about Sharon, who made an appearance, and then worrying about Bucky with Zemo. Like I just feel like he was kind of sidelined in this episode, which I just don't appreciate because there's only 6 episodes, and I really did think within the first 2 episodes that we were kind of getting a Sam-centric 6-episode arc, but I guess I was wrong. I'm not saying that Sam wasn't well written in this specific episode. It's just I wanted more from him. But again, still love this episode. Love the dynamic between Bucky, Sam, and Baron Zemo. It's a very unlikely trio, but they really bounced off of each other extremely well. Also, Baron Zemo is one of the coolest villains that the MCU has. I was dying of laughter because like he broke out of jail. Bucky helped him do that without telling Sam, which when he was kind of telling him the plan, I found it really funny. He's like, oh, hypothetically, if I were to do this, and this, we could get Zemo out of jail. Meanwhile, like Zemo just pops up while Bucky's telling the story to Sam. So I found that really funny. And then it was just really interesting to see that like Zemo had so many connections. He has all the freaking cars, all the toys. He has so many different pieces of his backstory that they were kind of like peeling back and how powerful he truly was, but he's just so cool. And then we love the little dance that he did. It was the highlight of the MCU so far. He's cool. Daniel Brühl is like totally underrated, and I'm really happy that he's getting his chance to shine in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because his development in 1 episode, guys, was better than what we got in Civil War. And I know we're just starting out with Baron Zemo in Civil War, but I'm just happy that they kept him. They didn't kill him off, and they used him in this show to his full potential, because I'm just like floored by how good he was. Also, we see Sharon Carter, and I'm gonna be quite honest, I never really cared for her character. I love Agent 13. It's just the fact that they really just didn't use her properly in Captain America the Winter Soldier. I really hate the fact that she was Steve's love interest in Civil War. It just felt really weird to me. And I just think that if Sharon Carter took Black Widow's role in the Winter Soldier, then her character development would have been cast to the side, and it would have been understandable as to why you kind of just like shoved her in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But again, like I'm not opposed to her. She really kicked some major ass. The fight choreography was cool, but I just didn't. Still don't care. I'm really sorry. I just don't care enough about the character. She did save their asses, but Sharon got into the car and kind of said along the lines of like, we're in trouble, or something's gonna happen, and blah 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 blah. So like she's kind of tied in with something else. I don't know what it is, but who knows? Sharon Carter could end up being the villain in this 6-episode series. We don't really know what's going to happen in the next 3 episodes, and I'm constantly surprised. I'm just really happy that it's grounded in reality, and we're learning about these super soldiers, we're learning about the serum, and more importantly, we're learning about the power broker, who, like, the name kind of came up in this episode. We're just like, oh, so you do your Googles and stuff like that. So, you know, power broker could also be the villain. A lot of people are linking it to Sharon, that she's actually the power broker, and honestly, anything can happen. Marvel really doesn't follow the comics that closely, so it could happen. It could be her, we don't know. I do have to mention that the costume design for this episode was absolutely wicked. Baron Zemo's costume in the poster was just like, oh, okay, like basic, that's cool. But seeing it in action, the mask, the fur coat, like he just looked wicked. He looked like a proper villain, but just like a rich one. He looks so cool. And the way he carries himself, Daniel Brühl really just like tapped into Baron Zemo with like absolute perfection. He's so great. And I loved the costume changes for Sam, especially that 3-piece suit was stunning. The turtleneck, I have to mention. The leather jackets, he looks so cool. And then Bucky as posing as the Winter Soldier. I thought that entire club scene had so much intensity. We didn't know what was gonna happen, but also like Bucky kind of going back into the Winter Soldier mindset and how traumatic that he had to kind of like relive that and relive his orders in that way. I really do think it kind of messed with him a bit, but the pent-up anger that he did have in the therapy sessions, he kind of expressed it with these guys. They was kicking some major butt. But the important thing that we have to take note of is that Sam was so worried about Bucky. From the very beginning of this episode, Sam kept checking in on Bucky. He didn't want him to be alone with Baron Zemo, which is totally understandable considering what happened in Civil War. So I think Sam is really just starting to appreciate having Bucky around. You do see Sam and Bucky's chemistry kind of flourish a bit more and develop because of Anthony Mackie's chemistry with Sebastian Stan. Their chemistry off screen completely translates on screen, and that's where you get the pieces of dialogue where they're kind of overlapping when they're arguing, but it's so natural that it works and just makes these characters so much better. So they both add their own flair to it. I know there's a lot of reactions that, you know, that Seb puts into Bucky and that Mackie puts into Sam, especially when he was drinking that drink at the bar with the snake. I don't know what the hell it was, but like that something of a snake was in that drink, and then Mackie kind of did like a little reaction before drinking it. I said right away, I'm like, that's not Sam Wilson reacting, that is definitely Anthony Mackie reacting. So they add so much of themselves to these characters, and I think that's why everyone loves them. On and off screen, we love them as Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie, and then we love them as Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes on screen. So I love this episode. I love everyone's dynamic. I just wish there was more of a Sam Wilson storyline in here. I felt like we spent too much time with the Flag Smashers and like nothing really came from it. Really difficult to like sit there and watch those scenes when like that writing could have gone towards Sam. So it's a little peeve of mine. It's not something that makes me, gonna hate the show. And then we got a very nice little surprise at the end of this episode that just left me shook. We got Ayo from Black Panther. We got her from Wakanda. And it was such a great surprise that like there is a connection to Wakanda. What does this mean? You know, like what's gonna happen after this? And it was a great tie-in and a wonderful surprise. So I can't believe there's 3 episodes left. Like, how are you going to even tie this up? It's impossible. I really just every single week, I just get so annoyed because there's only 6 episodes and there's so much to unpack in every single episode. How are you going to tell me that you couldn't have stretched this out to 9 episodes? You know what I mean? So hopefully Bucky ends up getting the shield next episode. I really don't want the final scene of this season to be Sam and Bucky kind of going their separate ways and Sam takes the shield with him. That's the last thing I would want as a cliffhanger finale. I don't want it. Please don't do that to us. I really don't want that to be the last shot. we need to tie up some loose ends. I really want to see more of Isaiah Bradley if that's possible, because just bringing him in the second episode and then not really developing, you know, his connection with Bucky and then what Sam knows about the backstory. I just think that if they do not use him in the next 3 episodes, then I'm just gonna kind of be disappointed. I'm already a little bit disappointed with the way they're writing Sam, but I do hope that we get to see more of Sam Wilson, because I really do think that this is his show. This is Anthony Mackie's show. I've said it since day one, and we got to put some respect on my boy's name because he is killing it. He's killing it. I really love this episode, but right now I'm kind of ranking the episodes with number 2 being my favorite, number 3 in second place, and then the first pilot episode, the pacing was kind of off, and that's why it's in my 3rd spot, but that could totally change by the end of this series. So yeah, that is my review for Power Broker episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you guys like this review, please like and subscribe. You can always find me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Come join in on the conversation. I talk about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier every single day and remind you that Sam Wilson is amazing. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.